of the Marine Corps. We lived for short periods in Wakan and Tora, but ultimately we decided to move back to Coastville and establish our here and raise our family of 10 children, instilling in them as well the loyalty and gratitude to our great country. And when I say family, I refer not just to the flesh and blood family, but to the community of Postville family that I am a part of. I see Postville as my extended and no less important family. I regard myself as a Postvillean, a proud American who happens to be a Jewish member of this community.
Thank you. Lori, do you want the question reread? Do you remember? Okay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lori Moody. I am a lifelong resident of Elm-McKee County. Was born in Pardashim, but grew up in Harpers Ferry. Attended Waterville Elementary, Wakan Junior and Senior High School. Casey was my classmate. I went on to college at Winona State University in Winona, Minnesota, and got my Bachelor of Arts degree in the applied sciences. I've been with Elm-McKee County Environmental Health, Zoning, and Weed Commissioner for the last 30 years. With working with Elm-McKee County, I did, for the first 17 years of the 30, I also did zoning. I was a zoning administrator. That in itself is an undertaking that everybody should get to try. It's appreciated and hated all at the same time. My family is all from Harpers Ferry. My brother just retired from Elm-McKee County. So my family has very deep roots in Elm-McKee. If you'd asked me a number of years ago, you're going to live in Postville someday? And I said, oh my God, no. I'm from Wakan. That's the other team. So since we've been here, which has been a short time, about 4.5 years, Randy and I have both truly enjoyed the different community, the different diverse backgrounds of everybody. And you know, we really enjoy our neighborhood and all the differences in it. I also have been a high school volleyball official for 29 years. So if some of you that have daughters that played volleyball look at me and like, yep, that's her. And I've been an EMT, no longer. I wish I would have stayed in that, but it just got too busy. So I've been around. Some of you probably know me from doing things in like I said, with Elm-McKee County. It's not an elected position that I hold. It's an appointed. So this isn't conflicting with that position. I'm open to anybody's comments and questions at any time, whether I'm in or not in the office of city council or during my Elm-McKee County position. So thank you for having us, and that's my story.
Thank you. Yeah. Nahama?
Yes, my name is Nahama. Try to do it.
Thanks for the heads up.
We're in New York, Brooklyn, actually.
Closer.
Can you the microphone closer?
You know what? Does everybody hear me like this? I can do this.
No, closer.
Is it better?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I met my husband in Israel, and I moved and I lived there for a year. I have to tell you, like, it really, really impressed me with Postville was very soon after I came, whatever, maybe a year after I came, I was waiting for some mail, and I was in IGA, and I don't know, from the post office sees me, she says, I think it came. This is like this closeness just endeared Postville to me, and I've been here almost 20 years. I raised my children here. Community. Traditionally, I've been involved I taught in the school, church school, and in other community areas, in the business sector. So sorry, I don't usually do public speaking, which probably sees that. I've been involved in advising in the economic growth of different stores. I have a lot of family ties to Postville, and I think I have a lot to give to the city.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
I want to see how close I was with your name.
Okay, go for it.
No.
You want me to say it?
That's not how this works. I want to know. You say it.
Okay, so my name there says Rachel.
Yes.
In my culture, we say Rachel, but it's a very hard name to pronounce, so I go by Rachel as well.
Okay.
It's another confusing one.
Okay.
So
Last
my
name?
name is Sugar Molinas.
It is Sugar.
Sugar is my maiden name, Molinas my married name.
Okay.
So I was actually born near Postville, not so far, but in a bit of a bigger town in Chicago, Illinois. So it's nice to be in a place that is rural and quiet, but I still have family there and it's close. I was born and raised in Chicago, and I moved to Israel when 12 years old, and I met my husband, who is a Postville resident, and he has many ties to the community. Many of you may know him. He is a public servant as a volunteer fireman, and we live as a family in the importance of giving back to the community and really being there for every part of this community in any way. And I personally am a mother of parents of two young children, and I work from home in the food and wine industry. And I hope that I bring to the table compassion and patience and understanding for this diverse, amazing, growing community that has so much potential. And that is my story.
Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Valdez, and I recently moved here about 2 years ago from the West Coast. My mom was deeply rooted here. She recently moved back a handful of years ago, grew up, born and raised here. And yeah, we just recently got, a house out here. And then hopefully, where we lived, I did a lot of local volunteering there. So I was kind of hoping to do a little bit more here, give, back to the community here. Growing up, coming here to visit my grandma, and I just fell in love with this town. I always really liked it. We grew up in Missouri, and we come here for, Christmas and, different holidays and stuff. And I always loved Postville. I thought it was great, and I never thought I'd live here either. And he moved back. My mom and dad, they moved here, and then my dad had passed away a couple years ago. So me and my husband moved here to be with my mom. And so now we're here trying to plant our roots, and I want to give back to the community that I fell in love with years ago. And, I definitely feel like it starts with the city council and, trying to work with the people that are here, local people. I still know a few people that I grew up with. And so it's, it's really kind of fun to see those same people that are here. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to thank the Chamber for organizing this forum. My name is Larry Moore. I grew up in Postville. I'm a graduate of Postville High School in 1971. I've lived in Postville my entire life, except for the 7 years I went to Iowa State University. and 1 year in Monroe, Wisconsin. In 78, moved here in 79, and have been here for 8 years. We have 4 sons who all went to Postville High School, and we have built our home on the outskirts of Postville in the 1980s. Our veterinary practice started, like I said, in 1979, and I've been a veterinarian there for 44 years. We have a new facility on the edge of town in the new industrial park there in 2004. Our building burned in 2004, and we built a new building in 2005. It's kind of a state-of-the-art facility for veterinary medicine, and people come from many miles around, 50 to 100 miles around, to utilize that. We employ about 20 people. Since 1995, I've announced football games at the high school. I've sung the national anthem with the band. And those who want to keep our country free and give us a right to have the. When I started on city, I said, well, if I'm part of something, we're not going to have it look like this. And meeting, got volunteers together to help clean the Turner Hall up and spruce up the floors and get the floors clean and everything. And this, something that we can now use as a town meeting hall. And so that came with a lot of sweat from local volunteers. I've helped twice with RAGBRAI when they came through town. I was on the cleanup crew, and own something. I expect it to look top notch. And I've been a youth leader in the Presbyterian Church, and been director at Luena Savings Bank for 30 years. I've also hosted Ag Day celebrations, work on those committees, and then so I've announced homecoming, and now we have the hometown celebration parades, and I've done announcing for those. I support Dollars for Scholars and other events at the school, so pretty involved in the community here.
Thanks, Larry. You're.
Yes, good evening. And I'd like to begin with a big thank you to everybody for being here. It's a great honor and a privilege to be here tonight with you. Well, I was born in Israel in 6/11 of 1967. If anybody knows what happened on 6/11 of 1967 was the end of the 6-day war. That means I'm a fighter. So that's why my name is Giora. Giora is the name of a fighter of the second, and on the time of the Second Temple. So I came to United States. I married my wonderful wife, Yael. She's not here tonight. And we came to the United States of America about 32 years ago, more or less, 33 years ago, with $50. I came here with $50. And thank God today I'm here. I own a business. I have real estate. I have a house. We have 15 kids. 13 of them born and raised in Iowa, Wisconsin, Ganderson Clinic, Minnesota, Mayo Clinic, 3 of them in New York. And all of them went to school in Postville, Iowa. I also never told myself that I want to be here. I came on a winter night after 24 hours of driving, maybe more than 24, from upstate New York, driving in the winter for a better future. The first thing that happened to me when I came to Postville is I slept on the ice. When I came out of my car, that's the first thing that happened to me. But anyway, like I said before, 15 kids in Postville, 30 years or maybe more in town. I've been on a business for the past 4 years in Postville. I had a few other businesses in town before, a long time ago, 20, 25 years ago. 8 years at AgriStar when I came to town. And then I ran my own show. I was an insurance salesman for a while. And before I opened my mechanic shop here in town, I worked for 10 years for an international food company based out of New Jersey. I was in charge of the team in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa, up to 15 kosher supervisors. I was in charge of doing all the scheduling, getting everybody on time, being sure that all the labels, everything is in place, be sure that everything is okay. And if I had a problem, I never went to sleep, or I never ate till I solved that problem. That's me. The same thing in my business. Somebody comes with a problem, he's going to get his car back the right way. And what I like about Postville is that 1 mile is 1 minute. Okay, you go to New York, 5 miles is half an hour. You go to the bank, the lady doesn't even care who you are. You're just another number. You come here, hello, Mr. Bass, how are you? They know you. I make a phone call, they recognize my voice. You know, I call the teller, oh, Mr. Bass, just tell me you built date, you know, just for the protocol. So I think that Postville is a very, very, very nice place to be. Very calm, very laid down, you know. I mean, you can really relax in Postville. I want to tell you something that happened to me. You say I have an hour? No?
Okay,
On one of
Before
my
we
business, yeah, I have all my family besides my brother lives here in town. Zvi, you know, everybody knows. I mean, a lot of people know my brother. And one of the time I visit Israel, I went to visit my parents, my family. When I went back, I mean, I was born in Israel. I'm a US citizen. I was born in Israel. And I have big roots, you know, I mean, deep roots to Israel. But it happened to me one time when I came back. I left Ben Gurion and I got into the American Airlines. It was an American Airlines flight that I cried because I'm coming back home to the States. So I'm here today asking for your vote, for your help, to help me to make this place a better place. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we're not we're limited. We have to be out of here by 8 o'clock. So I'm going to ask you all to keep your answers a little bit short. I felt it was important that we get to know you. So I did not interrupt anybody. I hope that's okay with everybody. I hope everybody feels like they had an equal opportunity to find that out. You might not get all 10 questions answered or asked because we're going to have to watch the time. But we're going to go ahead and my next question then is, when you hear about something that concerns you in our city, what steps would you take to see that this concern is addressed? Giora, I'm going to start with you. Mr. Bass.
Well, I can tell you that listening is the key. You have to listen to the people. There's a concern. You have to look on the problem, the concern, and try to find a solution. But you also have to do it together. There's a team. City council is a team. The city is a team. The town is a team. So you have to go, listen to the people, look for yourself, bring the idea into the table, and everybody together come to the right solution for everybody.
Thank you. Larry?
I think that's a good point is that we listen to the people. I think what I've learned is that number one, go to the source. There's lots of rumors out there. Try to go to the source and talk to them. Sometimes it's necessary to get everybody in the same room at the same time to stop all the rumor mill and everybody's chasing the tail. So I'm big on, getting everybody together, meeting all at once, And, you know, you can't, the rumors are terrible, you know, so we gotta dispel all the rumors and try to get to the source and find out what really happened.
Thank you. Jennifer? Did you need the question again, or you? Okay. When you hear about something that concerns you in the city, what steps would you take to see that this concern is addressed?
Well, I would first want to make sure like all outlets are kind of, went through, make sure if there's certain things that need to be done, they went to the proper places first and, listen to everybody, kind of have a consensual, see both sides, listen to kind of everybody and, try to make the best step forward, try to make the, right choice, I guess, for everybody.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Rachel?
So I think that, as it was said before, super important to listen very attentively to every problem. And I strongly believe in respecting everybody's opinion, everyone's side, and trying to come together. Also being in the same place and for everyone to have their voices heard, and we can, collaborate and find practical solutions for any issue that may arise.
Thank you. Nahama?
Yes. Like everybody said, working as a team is really, really important, and Postville is a team. So proactively listening and engaging with residents and hearing what they have to say is utmost important.
Thank you. Lori?
Well, my experience has told me over the last number of years with the county is that you may go into a situation with your opinion already formed, but after talking to 1, 2, maybe even 3 sides of the story, going, as everyone has said, to the source, listening to what everybody's input is, because everybody does have a different opinion. But take the accumulation of those opinions, try to make the best answer. I have found sometimes you can go into a question having your mind already made up, but once you start hearing more input, suddenly your opinion can be changed as well. So as long as we don't go into any one thing thinking we know it all and are open to suggestion, open to having more interviewing of everybody that's got a stake in the problem, it sometimes just seems to resolve itself. And communication, as everybody's probably going to say, communication and understanding and acceptance is the key.
Thank you. Thank you. Devorah?
As far as concerns that are brought to us, I actually have complete confidence in the system we currently have in place to address concerns. I think our Mayor Koenig has done an incredible job with transparency and with being open and available to any members of the public who want to come and bring up concerns. And I think it's very important to be open and to be available, that people can feel that they can come and address us. In this past year, when I have been on the council and when people have brought their concerns to me, regardless of large or small, I've made sure immediately to be of the mindset that it's a concern as if it's someone from my immediate family. So to give it the respect and the honor that it deserves. And I've brought it to the appropriate entities when I could. And I did so immediately so that it wouldn't fall through the cracks, and followed up and made sure that the solutions were being worked on, and doing so respectfully.
Very good, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna ask the next question, and it's a loaded question. I apologize, but we're gonna rattle this thing a little bit and see how everybody responds to this one. How familiar are you with how the city operates financially, including the revenue sources for public services and the operating budget? Do I have a volunteer that would like to take it first? Mr. Bass. Oh,
Well, when I get a parking ticket, that's revenue, you know? So that's one of the revenues when you get the parking. When you don't behave, you get the ticket. But house ownership, property taxes is very important. That's why we need more housing, more people to own houses. Business, we need more business in the community. Business bring revenue, business bring people to town, people bring money, and money is more revenue, people want to move in. Zoning fees, you want something from the city, you need a service, to the charge for the service, that's revenue to the city. And grants, government grants or state grants that we can get or we have right now in place, that's another source of revenue. But I think the biggest one is what the people bring in. The more people we have, the more business we have, the more people come to Postville, the more money Postville will have. And with this money, we can make this place better.
excellent. Thank you. Larry?
Really had more exposure having been on city council for quite a while, but the city has several funding sources. Some are earmarked and can only be used for the specific things. Salaries, the pool, the library, summer youth programs, police, building repairs, insurance, which is a bigger all the time. The second source would be local option sales tax. That's something that's earmarked, and half has to be spent for public safety, like the police, half has to be spent on streets. The water and sewer fees that you get bills every month for, that money is earmarked. Sewer improvements. The road use tax comes from the state. It's the DOT that sets the rate times the population of the town, and it's set new every year, but it has to be used for roads and streets. Some things are earmarked, some things are discretion. Capital improvements levy has been established. That's for capital improvements like sewer, water, vehicles, the solar system we put out, the water pump north of town, building repair, and a new one we have is hotel motel tax, and that has to be used for the many things into that. Just to give you an idea how fiscally responsible the city council has been since 2008. When I started, the city general fund was $800,000 in debt. The city is now, that is no longer in debt. That's quite a city council, how we've operated. A lot of thanks to Darcy and our department heads, but we have been.
Thank you.
What he said.
Good choice.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know the specifics. I'm not gonna, I guess, try to act like I do, but I really do like what he said. And it would be good teammates.
And I apologize because I knew when I asked that question that it was a loaded question because if you, I guess my point is that it might be something that you don't know anything about now. But in my whole career, it was, if I didn't know it's something, I had to ask a question. And when I asked the question, then I found out. So if we ask some things tonight that you don't know anything about, it might be something that whether you're elected or not, you might want to look into so that you can gain knowledge on that. Rachel?
So similarly, I've only lived there, about 3 years, so I can't say I know exactly how, the city revenues, budgeting and everything, but I have learned a little bit tonight just from, the other city council members that have been on the city council, and I'm going to continue learning about, the best way the city is run, and I believe that how it has been run seems to be pretty positive as now we are out of debt, so I agree with that.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm sure that, you know,
Mike, I'm sorry, I'm a bugger about it.
I apologize. It's part of not being a very good public speaker. You know, I really learned a lot tonight hearing Larry. And I do follow the city finances. I have experience in accounting, and I'm sure that there's a lot to learn, and I will learn. And like you said, asking helps you gain knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lori?
Well, the county government modes versus city government modes, there's a lot of similarities, there's a lot of differences. I've done my own county department, 3 departments, budgeting for, like I said, for 30 years, which I don't have with my department at the county. I don't have the revenue sourcing other than what the county's fund sources are. However, I do have also grants, what we have to write every year. I won't admit to being the best grant writer on the planet. There are a lot of people that are gifted at it, but I've been very fortunate to bring in $50,000 grants every year for the county. So if there's funding on that side for the county, there should also be funding on a grant type basis for city for a multitude of things, for funding projects that the city maybe cannot legally give too much money to. The other thing would be just if we increase our tourism base, where we bring more people in to enjoy the city, enjoy the parks, the pools, the libraries, the schools, whatever. When you bring other people in, they like to leave some money. So our small businesses that have been lucrative in operating in tough times, if you can bring the people in and they want to spend the time here, they'll drop some cash flow. So that helps with everything as well. So beyond what Larry has already said, as far as what the city can do as far as bringing revenues in and expenditures out, there are other avenues, and I'm just, I'm gonna be kind of new like these gals as well, as far as learning all the ins and outs when it comes to city budgeting, so.
Sounds good.
Well,
Any more?
I'm not familiar with anything financial at all. I have no financial expertise in my background. And I'm surprised Darcy hasn't brought harassment charges against me. What she can attest to is that I'm not afraid to ask questions and to increase my knowledge base and to learn. I text, I call, I email, I harass her until I can understand, what it is that we're working on, and to try to learn more. So I don't know much financial knowledge at all, but I'm not afraid to ask questions and to learn. But to mirror a little bit what Larry said this past year, what I have come to learn and what I do know is that since 2017, when Darcy came on board with Postville, we do have a tax rate that has been steady for the most part. And Postville is working within an efficient budget with our debt getting paid down. And we are doing more projects in our city, which today we had a meeting at the city hall as far as the road projects that are going on. And we're doing that within our borrowing limits. And currently half of our local option sales tax goes to the street department and public safety. And the records prove that our general fund was in the black for many years, but we are making incredible progress, and Postville is out of debt. And the city itself has seen increased cost as our infrastructure grows. And we've been working on solar options for the wastewater treatment plant, which will help reduce our sewer and well water costs. So I don't know much. I don't have many suggestions or whatever. I don't have any expertise, but I do have people that I go to that do have the expertise and that I ask them, and I don't know.
Thank you. Okay, the next question. We're gonna wrap this up here probably after this one, so I'm gonna try and, no, this isn't the most important one, it's a good one. What are the current issues of greatest concern or satisfaction that you see facing Postville? And what does your candidacy offer in further addressing those issues? Rachel, I'm gonna start with you.
So I believe that we have a beautiful main street with so many lots that can be filled, and it can be a prospering mode for businesses. And I think that that is a pretty, is that what you basically were saying about? what
Yeah,
could be improved?
If there's concerns, yeah.
Okay,
What
Yeah,
you
I-
see is something that we need to do, yeah.
so yeah, I believe that the main street definitely can be improved, and again, I can community, and for even during our winter months when everybody usually hibernates, to still make an effort to have businesses that people want to come out of their house and go to. And beyond just the main street, I believe that our parks should be updated, and it should be a place where, families of all ages can come and enjoy themselves. And I think that there's definitely much improvement in the parks and recreation arenas. And I think we can just make this more of a budding, lively place that, we want to go for all 12 months and not just a few months of sunny weather.
Good. Go ahead, Nahama.
She said,
You're doing fine.
The ability that Postville has to enhance to bring in more external entrepreneurs and convince local businesses to try to blossom more, and there are so many ways to do that, and I'm sure that with a vision of inclusion and growth, we can do that.
Okay, good, thanks. Go ahead, Lori.
Repeat the question.
Oh, sure. What are the current issues of greatest concern or satisfaction that you see facing Postville, and what does your candidacy offer in further addressing those issues?
Well, concerns may be something as simple as just safety. We are doing a large street project that is going to update sidewalks on both sides of a very busy street, two highway systems that there is a lot of traffic on. And what I've noticed in the last few months, as the sun sets a little sooner and the dark comes a little quicker, kids are still out riding bicycles and playing, and our city streetlights really aren't overly bright at intersections, and so sometimes these little tykes are hard to see. So I guess my opinion, what a concern would maybe be just, on a public safety standpoint, where it's not a law enforcement problem, it's not the streets are bad, it's just, maybe we just need to put some better lighting in. As far as the good things, there's a lot of good things. You have ball diamonds, you have libraries, you have swimming pool. I happen to be the inspector for the 2 swimming pools here in town. I have a hard time, and Zach can attest to this, I have a hard time finding anything wrong with either of them. And that is a true testament to how the pride that the employees of the city take in what they do. The snow removal, there's times where that could be different, but it is what it is, and we go to the council and ask for some changes. So there's a lot of wonderful things when it comes to a small town life that you can't get anywhere else. Like Mr. Boss said, you can't get that in New York. So that's the greatest thing. That's the greatest benefit of small town life is it's small town life. So.
True. Devorah?
Well, I think my greatest satisfaction is also what makes Postville so unique, which is the accessibility to having our voices and our opinions heard. There's many towns and many large cities where you go through life and your opinion and your voice and your desires, your needs are never heard. So I think my greatest satisfaction so far has been the accessibility of getting our voices heard, and especially the heart and soul statements that our town has worked on and Crystal has worked on. I think it's incredible. It gave everybody an opportunity to have a voice and to say what they found as perhaps lacking or what they would find to, what they would like to improve. And I think the heart and soul statements say perfectly what everybody in this town across all cultures, any differences, everybody had an opportunity to say how they felt and to have their voices heard. So I think that's incredible. My biggest concern that I feel that I see facing Postville is any source of division or entitlement that pulls us apart. And I think that makes it very difficult for us to grow as a community. I think distrust in our leaders and not supporting authority, I think undermines our confidence in our town and our feelings of safety. I think that's very important to show support and respect to our leadership and to the people that serve us and volunteer their time and their expertise for our growth as a community. And I guess what my candidacy would embrace would be focusing on what we have in common and how we can work together as a unit to grow our community rather than focusing on the differences that we have and that divide us and that undermine this path that we're all on. So.
Great, thank you. Jennifer? Or Rachel, did I start with you? Yeah, okay. Jennifer?
Well, I think what kind of helps me stand out a little bit is, I grew up coming here to visit, so I knew how it used to be, back, I guess, early 90s, and I hadn't been back here it was a handful of years, living on the West Coast, and then coming back, and I can see a huge difference from what it used to be, from like kind of, I guess, what I fell in love with is, your main street, there was businesses everywhere. It's like, had the bakery, had the dime store, had all your, well, I couldn't go to the bars at that time, but, they had all the restaurants.
We still had them.
Yeah, they were there, the bars were there, I couldn't go. But I was babysat at my grandma's. But, it's just to see how it thrived back then. And, it was always something I looked forward to being able to go to when I was of age. But, coming, being that I had been gone, I guess, for the handful of years and then moving back here, it's like night and day. It's completely different. I feel the main street, there's so many empty storefronts, and to be able to, I don't know, maybe offer incentives or things like that might bring businesses here that might kind of help it flourish, and then another thing, I feel there's more pride taken in yards. It's like, driving around, and Postville was beautiful. It's like people didn't lock their doors, people said hi to each other, and it was that hometown step back in time, place. And I just loved it. And you drove up and down the streets and it was just beautiful. Everybody's yards were great. And, I feel like it's slightly different now. I feel, maybe certain things that way could kind of change and just kind of clean it back up. And, I do work out in Austin at a local bank over there, and just kind of hearing even, from those people there, it's like they've known Postville for how long, and they've even said how much it's changed. It's not, the same. It's like, I just want to bring that pride back and bring businesses back and, hopefully build up Postville again.
Thank you. Larry?
I think one of the daycare center and the wage enhancement project that's going on, that's a big thing, and the daycare is very vital to a big part of our population. So that's probably one of the biggest concerns. I think some successes have been the fire department unity between the city and rural. Now it seems to be melded together, and they're pulling together and got that worked out. The hometown celebration success between the city and the Big Four Fair. It's up at the fairgrounds. It's a big draw. People from all four counties around us comment on how successful that fair has been. Big success in the $6.1 million wastewater treatment plant. Ragbri Hose people's comments were that it was one of their favorite towns. I think we were considered the most hospitable town. We were just a pass-through town, but one of the most hospitable towns on the route. I think Crystal and Brenda have done a great job with Art Solo trying to search out those things that we need to keep working towards, and hopefully gives us some guidance.
Thank you. Mr. Vance?
Yes. Last question? This is the last question?
No,
No? Okay. So number
Is it?
one,
it's gotta be pretty
I
close.
thought you said that we want to wrap up with this question. Definitely,
I lied, I'm
okay. The first things that we have to do, I mean, the most important point of every town is law and order. A strong police force. You have to provide our police officers with the best of the best our money can buy. You have to have the best weapon, best bulletproof jacket, the best dog, the best car, and the best training. Because I know we live in Boston, and it's northeast Iowa, and it's about 50,000 miles from everywhere. But the international scenario changed very, very fast, and it's a big concern. I think that and I think that law and order is number one. I think that we have to support our police officers, our police force, EMT. They have to have the best ambulance, the best equipment, the best we can give them. The fire department, they have to have the best of the best in order to provide the best service. And can only be done with a strong city, with a strong unity of our members. That's the first concern. Second concern that I think is that we have to bring more business. We have less empty places now than before. I don't want to be negative, I didn't come here to be negative. But there's room to improve. The city of Boston, if I get elected, will be business friendly. And I'm speaking out of my own experience. And I'm not going to tell you my experience with business in town, but I can tell you that the city of Boston can be a better place for businesses. We have to bring big business to Boston. We have a lot of small business that is I have a small business. I have one guy working for me. The dollar store is great. Quick Start and Casey is great. They employ more than 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 10, 20 people. And it brings a lot of people. So we need, Ziegler is going to open like a big center. That's a blessing for Boston. And we need a supermarket. We need the city to be proactive, trying to get, you go to La Crosse and you see signs, free land, just come over and open a business. So that's the biggest concern. I like to second what the lady said, that when I go home, the streets are very, very dark. And the kids, I have kids, they go on the bike, you don't see them. Even the four-way stop is very dark. And I can tell you from my experience that people blow the stop sign every day. Big semis. My daughter-in-law was run over by a car, and my daughter was run over by a car. And that's something we have to address, even that it's a state highway. But this is something that the city has to do. We have to put, I don't know what, lights or whatever it is. We have to,
I'm gonna shut you off there, Mr. Bass. We're running out of time.
okay,
So
just,
I
I
appreciate.
finish,
One more.
what I'm going to,
Okay,
what
go
I want to bring to the table.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you that I speak 3 languages. I speak English, Hebrew, and Spanish. I have connections to everybody, to Spanish speaking, American people, people that speak Hebrew, the Somalian community. I know almost everybody of them. And I think that I know what is their concern and what the city has to do better for everybody of them. What I like about Postville is 1 mile, 1 minute. Friendly people, and everything else, I think it's a very beautiful place to be. Thank you.
sounds good. Thank you. Okay. We got 5 minutes to get out of here. I think the things that the city council has brought up tonight, or these candidates have brought up, are things that the whole town needs to be aware of. I've lived here for a long time. It takes money to do a lot of the stuff that you're talking about doing. And without the money, then it's hard to get stuff done. Encouraging business to come in as an employee of a lifelong business here, it's important to have those people come into town. It's going to be hard to get that done overnight, but I appreciate everybody's comments. Some of the things that were asked that we were going to, if we had time, we were going to go ahead and get to were the lighting, the childcare center, which is a big concern. Somebody asked about curtains in the downtown windows. How do we encourage people to move here? Those of you that are living out or working outside of town, when you're talking to those people that don't want to come to Postville, tell them, hey, it's a great place to be. That's one thing that we have is if we talk positive about where we're at, good things are going to happen. And then, of course, we've said ever since we've been more diverse that we were going to run over somebody. And other than a few that I've heard about here tonight, we don't have a very good record of taking pedestrians out. So all of us are aware of that. And it's something we need to keep working on.
It's a miracle that it doesn't happen every day.
Yes,
That's the thing.
that's true.
And it's unfortunate happened to my family.
That's true.
So I want that to be fixed yesterday.
Okay. I'm going to close with thanking all of you and reminding everybody that Election Day is November 7th. Thank you for your time.